Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros santos, we do apologize for that bit of sound glitch there, but it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the launch of the UNDP program to 2020 to 2026, the launch of the multi-country program. My name is Javon Keys, and it's my absolute pleasure to be a master of ceremonies. For those of you joining us online at YouTube, we extend a very special welcome to you, and we have a whole lot in store for you for this launch. We are coming to you live from the AC Marriott Hotel in Kingston, and for those of you joining us via Zoom, thank you so much for joining us. Now, we're standing by to share a whole lot with you. As I said earlier, this is the launch of the country program 2022 to 2026, and we ask that as you participate in the proceedings, you use the hashtags partner with UNDP and leaving no one behind. Now, the strategic direction of the UNDP over the next few years will be shared with you today, and we'll get into the details a little later on. Of course, the country program outlines the 5 for UNDP and its multi-country office. And of course, we have a wide range of support being provided by the UNDP. And the here, but to indicate to you, our multi-office serves not just island, the Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, and Turkey. Our multi-country office in Kingston, Jamaica. Of course, we want you to join us on social media. You can find the live stream at the JIS's YouTube. You can also join us at the UNDP Multi-Country Office YouTube page. And again, we want you to use the hashtags leaving no one behind and partner with UNDP. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Gillian Scott is the UNDP Communications Analyst, and she's standing by to give you an idea of what to expect this afternoon.
Thank you, Javon, and a warm welcome to everyone online and here on location at AC Marriott. Team UNDP has come together and they have put together an interactive day for you to showcase the strength and the resilience and the power of our 5-year country program. We are starting off with our mini expo, and people have started to arrive, Javon. Our mini expo features a number of our partners, and also it features a number of our projects under our 4 priority areas. At about 4 o'clock, we'll get started with our launch, our official launch of the country program. And during that time, we will have remarks from the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, from the Planning Institute of Jamaica, from UNDP Resident Representative Denise E. Antonio. We will also be entertained by Island Kings, and we will also have an official handing over of the country program. At about 5 p.m., when that segment ends, is when all the fun begins once again. And at that time, our mini expo will reopen and the media zone begins, where we'll be interviewing a number of our partners, and Javon will be handing over to you as well, where you'll have interviews with some of our booth holders. We will also have a 20-minute performance from Island Kings, so there's a lot to look forward to. So we ask everyone to just stay tuned online and on location as we showcase Country Program 2022 to 2026. Back to you, Javon.
Thank you so much, Gillian. So we have a whole lot in store for you, as you heard it, and you do not want to miss a second. So as indicated, we also have some conversations that we're going to be having throughout this afternoon's proceedings to help to share with you what the programmatic direction will be from 2022 to 2026. And joining me here is Denise Antonio, and she is the resident representative for Jamaica, Bermuda, Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, and Turks and Caicos Islands. So she's our country representative linked to the multi-country office here in Jamaica. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And I want you to start off by sharing with those who may have an idea but may not be so certain about what exactly does the UNDP do. Let's start there.
Okay, so thank you very much. The UNDP, or let me say it the full name, the United Nations Development Program, is a development organization. We are situated in 170 countries and territories with approximately 20,000 personnel. So what are we doing? Our strategic plan really focuses on 3 areas. Of course, we want to eradicate poverty, we want to reduce inequalities and exclusion, and of course, we want to build resilience. And resilience will cover both social resilience as well as environmental resilience. Now, just in a nutshell to describe our strategic plan, I call it the 3-6-3, or that's what our organization calls it, a 3 by 6 by 3.
So you break that down.
I'm going to break it down for you. So the 3, of course, we want to support countries in doing 3 things. We want them to build resilience, we want them to have structural transformation, and of course, we want every country to leave no one behind.
And that's also a cross-cutting agenda for the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs,
Exactly.
leaving no one behind.
Exactly. Now, the 6 is UNDP's unique 6 signature solutions. Now, we're going to be looking, depending on the country context, right? We look at poverty and inequalities, we look at governance, we look at resilience, we look at environment, we look at energy, and of course, we look at gender equality. And when I say gender equality, I do not mean women only. Gender is both male and female.
And I know why you're
so
making that distinction, because there is a perception oftentimes when the term gender equality is heard, the focus on women.
Exactly. So gender equality is both male and female. And then the last 3 is how are we going to do that? And we call those our enablers, right? And those enablers are through digitization. We know that after COVID, it was clear, right? We needed to do a lot of digital work.
And we do live in so that's a critical part of any kind of development that's going to take place.
Exactly. And then we know strategic innovation, right? Also in COVID, you needed to have strategic innovation. And last but not least, we cannot do any of those things without development financing. We need the funds to be able to actually initiate these ideas that we have. And this is all grounded on the fact that we want to support countries to ensure that they're able to not only achieve their national development goals, but also their sustainable development goals.
Indeed. I mean, how are these priority areas determined?
So how are they determined? Mainly, of course, in designing the strategic plan, you're going to have a lot of consultations, not only internally, but also externally. And so we have an executive board, and so that consultation is held with them in terms of what are some of the ideas that they have, where do they see the organization going. You also have the situation of internally, and we also have evaluations, right? So part of the monitor and evaluation is to do evaluations, and based on those evaluations, they'll determine the direction in which UNDP should go in when we're working.
Indeed. What are you looking forward to the most today from our launch?
Well, I think part of the work we do is communications and advocacy. If we don't tell the public what we're doing, they're not going to understand. And so this is an opportunity as we launch this to really tell the public in all of the countries we serve what is it that UNDP does and what we bring a whole organization in 170 countries and territories with 20,000 people. So there's a lot we can bring to the organization, to the countries that we serve.
Indeed. So looking forward to hearing more from you a little bit later on. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you online, thank you so much. Ms. Denise Antonia, she's the resident representative for Jamaica, Bermuda, Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, and Turks and Caicos. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you very much.
And of course, those of you just joining us, welcome. This is the official launch of the 2022 to 2026 multi-country approach as it relates to the UNDP's direction for the next few years. And we are joining you live on YouTube as well as the JIS's YouTube platform. And we want you to continue sharing what's happening. If you are just joining, tell a neighbor. We are using the hashtags leaving no one behind as well as partner with UNDP. UNDP. So you just heard from our resident representative of the UNDP attached to our multi-country office based here in Kingston, Jamaica. Now, we also have the assistant resident representative here with me, Avagay White. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And you are the senior ranking officer at the resident, after the resident representative, of course, in our multi-country. Now, let's talk about the operational function of the multi-country office. What does that look like?
So we have what I like to say, the brains of the operation, which is the programs unit, but the heart of the operations is our operations team.
It's the brain of the... Dissect that one a little bit more for me.
So you'll speak with the brains in a few minutes. That's our programs team lead, Stacey and Tomlinson Knox. But then we have the operations unit that speaks to the heart. How do we get moving, get the things that the brain conceives done? We have the action team. So we have our procurement team, our HR team. We also have our finance team and administration. And as a multi-country office based in Jamaica, we serve all of our territories. Additionally, we serve other UN agencies who may need services, payment services, HR services, procurement services as well. So we are one of those country offices that extend our service offerings, particularly as it relates to operations, to ensure that the country team for the UN works very well and works in a way that we can achieve economies of scale and, of course, reap the best benefits for our beneficiaries.
And leave no one behind. Now, looking at the overall mandate of UNDP, how does all of that come together with what you have to do? How does it all come together?
Certainly. So at UNDP, we're always seeking to innovate. We're always looking at efficiently delivering our services and, most importantly, effectively reaching our goals. To do that, it takes cash to care.
Absolutely.
It is important that whatever we're doing, we're on the cutting edge of technology. So, for example, we're trying our best to be paperless. We're utilizing the cutting edge technology to ensure that whatever processes that we have, they're efficiently executed. And the persons that we recruit, those persons are at the highest level of their careers and able to serve the people in a very meaningful way, carrying the level of expertise required.
I'm putting you on the spot. What's your favorite SDG?
I would say no poverty, just because when you think about the debilitating effects of poverty, if we can really achieve that, then I think the others will fall in line. But my second favorite is partnership, because without working together, I don't think any of the SDGs can be attained.
And you're a critical part of that, UNDP.
We are, and we are very proud to have many of our partners here and working with us over the years.
Absolutely. And for those of you joining us online, there are a range of partners here on the ground as well. And you'll see so much more a little later on as we continue to share with you the work of the UNDP and what the vision for the next few years will look like. And we want you to continue to be a part of that. So ensure that you join us online. And if you have not already done so, ensure that you are sharing the link with your friends and your family, because everybody is a part of development. Development is everybody's business.
Everybody's business.
And of course, I mean, your UNDP does a lot of work in various communities,
Indeed.
looking at various issues across the board. Could you share some of those areas with us?
Certainly. So as mentioned, one of our key strategies relates to resilience. So we're working to ensure that whatever we do within the communities, we have sustainability. We are working to ensure, for example, that we have water catchment facilities to bring potable waters to communities who, may not have the distribution as timely or even sufficiently as necessary. We're working in Bahamas, for example, to strengthen their resilience against hurricanes by establishing a hurricane center in the Abacos, which was devastated by Hurricane Dorian. In Bermuda, we're working to support reducing gender-based violence, which is very, very a challenge across the Caribbean, but we know that it is one of those, I call it wicked problems, that if we can support that, then empowering women, which supports children, that ensures that families are strengthened, economic activity can grow and bloom and blossom, then we know that we can, of course, achieve all the other goals.
Absolutely. Strategic and meaningful support. Thank you so much, Avagay White Anderson. She is the Assistant Resident Representative, the Multi-Country Office of the UNDP. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
So again, if you're just joining us, welcome. It is the launch of the Country Program 2022-2026 for the UNDP, and we have a wide range of offerings to share with you. There are a number of booths on location as well, and a little later on you'll get the opportunity to see what's happening there, and I'll tell you a little bit more about our partners who are on the ground here to share with you. Of course, we want you to continue having the conversation going, because the idea of development means that everyone must also be integrally involved. So it's not just the institutions that are executing the various development projects, but it also requires you in your own capacities and your own various in the work that you do being involved. So we want you to ensure that you are participating and sharing information. And of course, at this time, we want to continue the conversation surrounding what's happening here today and the work of the UNDP. And I have coming my way Stacey Ann Tomlinson Knox. She is the program specialist and she heads the programs team, and she's going to talk to us a little bit. Now, earlier you heard the idea of the heart of UNDP. So Stacey Ann is going to tell us a little bit more about what the heart of UNDP does. Stacey Ann, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm very well.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, of course, let's get right into the conversation. I mean, a part of the work that you do is crisis prevention and the idea of various interventions, and that's a major part of the support role that the UNDP does. Now, how has the multi-country office contributed to this area of resilience and crisis management and managing those issues that may arise in various partner countries?
Thanks for that. It's such a good question to ask. We have to start about the why it's important. We live in a region that's highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. We're small island developing states. The territories we cover are highly vulnerable. And when we talk about the impacts of climate change, we're talking about droughts, hurricanes. We're looking at Hurricane Dorian in Bahamas. It was a Category 5, right?
Earthquakes.
Earthquakes, of course. And so much of everything that we do, our GDP is dependent on our natural resources, which are also really vulnerable. So if you look at our tourism product, the beach, the sand, right, or the cultural heritage.
All vulnerable to adverse
one
weather
Category
shocks.
5 hurricane and that's it. So why is resilience important? We want to safeguard our current and future prospects. So when we talk about resilience programming, we're building the capacity of the government and the people of the territories to be able to anticipate, prepare for, and recover from these disaster events. Now, if you can do that, you're investing in the future. It means that less lives are lost, income is secured, and we can build back better. And that's the message.
A knock-on effect and a connected puzzle there. I mean, one of the things I think we want to help people to understand is the individual role as well, because the development partners can do their job, but as individuals, what's the kind of role that we ought to play in ensuring that we also help to bolster development across the board?
Such a good question. Okay, so maybe I'll talk about what I do. So I went and I studied environmental biology in my undergrad, and I've always been a tree hugger, I guess that's the term. So I think just little steps we can all do is planting more trees, being a little bit more conscious about the decisions we take around the environment, right? Voting, participating in democratic processes.
Exercising your franchise.
Exactly. So we can do those little things. Be informed. Right? We're in an age where there's a lot of misinformation, and it helps when you seek out information around the development goals, Vision 2030 in Jamaica, to understand it. So UNDP plays an important role in informing our population, our groups, around the different things that are impacting them and how they can play a role in addressing these issues.
Indeed, and so much of that will be outlined today as we have the official launch. And I mean, I'm going to put you on the spot as well. What's your favorite SDG?
I mean,
and why?
Obviously, SDG, I think 13. Let me just check. Climate action.
Climate action.
Because it's so relevant to us. And I think everyone, I mean, Jamaica's carbon footprint is low comparatively. So we have to
collective region, in fact.
Exactly. So we have to think about adaptation. So I think if we can look at cleaner energy, look at our housing, the buildings, just to make sure we're more secure, I think those are steps we can take. Don't dig up the mangrove them. It can help buffer with the sea level rise. There are so many things we can do to adapt.
Don't throw the bottle out the window.
Don't throw the bottle out the window.
So many things. So thank you so much for sharing with us, Stacey Ann Tomlinson Knox, Programs Specialist at UNDP. So ladies and gentlemen, you've gotten a taste of what's happening here at the AC Marriott Hotel in Kingston, where going to be launching the programmatic direction for the UNDP from 2022 to 2026, and you do not want to miss it. So we're going to take a break here online, but not to worry, ladies and gentlemen. Set your alarms, set your clocks, because at 4 p.m. sharp, we're going to be coming back to you with the official launch. And a reminder to you that we are using the hashtags Leaving No One Behind and partner with UNDP. You can also get much more information while you share with your friends and family who will be joining us at 4 p.m. at www.undp.org/Jamaica. So thank you so much for staying with us. Don't go anywhere. We have so much more coming to you as you stand by for the launch of the Country Development for the Country Program 2022-2026 for UNDP. See you in a bit.
Project has 3 components. Component 1 deals with institutional strengthening and capacity building in renewable energy efficiency. Component 2 deals with supporting the legal and regulatory framework that will facilitate an uptake of renewable energy interventions. Component 3 deals with the investments in renewable energy and energy efficiency at the targeted health facilities. Project install grid-tied solar PV system at 3 of the health facilities: Maypen, National Chest, and Sir John Golden Health Facility. We also install over 5,000 LED lighting solutions at all 6 targeted health facilities.
The impact we expect to gain is the reduction in our electricity bill. That is one of the cost drivers for us. We have been tracking since the installation was completed. And since we were told, so we have started to track, and we'll continue to monitor because we expect saving in that area.
We have seen significant gain in terms of 850 megawatt saving per year at an estimated cost of about $40 million. So over the next 3 years, it allows for the contractor to carry out maintenance, and this will be done alongside our internal persons that will allow for capacity building for them to continue this work. We'll be able to monitor our consumption, and this would be done technologically, where operators will be able to monitor it on their cell phone. So to a large extent, this is a very impacting project, and we hope to be able to expand these to other facilities for us to help to see a change in terms of our energy consumption in health facilities.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you joining us online, a very special welcome to the official launch of the United Nations Development Program, UNDP's Country Program 2022-2026, which outlines the development prerogatives for the UNDP and the solutions and needs in our various partner countries. We are streaming live on YouTube as well as on Zoom, and we have some very special guests joining us. But of course, we have a wonderful audience here at the AC Marriott Hotel in Kingston. So let me say good afternoon and see if those online can hear you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Damas y caballeros santos, hispanohablantes, buenas tardes y bienvenidos. Les personnes qui parlent français, bienvenue. Welcome, everyone. For those of you who are joining us from wherever you are in the world, we ask that you also share our various platforms. We are streaming this launch live at the GIS's YouTube platform, as well as the UNDP's multi-country office in Jamaica YouTube platform. We also ask that you share the hashtag UNDP, that's partner with UNDP, and leaving no one behind. And those of us here and those of you at home may be very well familiar with leaving no one behind, as that is a part of the various messaging that we use for the Sustainable Development Goals. Let me acknowledge at this time, ladies and gentlemen, our very special guests who are joining us here in person and online. Our Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Kamina Johnson-Smith, is here. The Honorable Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith, also in her presence as well, is Minister of Entertainment, Gender and Sport, Olivia Babsy-Grange. We also have represented online, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Tine Ferbert, Minister of Social Development and Seniors of Bermuda. The Honorable Franklin Wittes, Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, is to join us. Also to join us, Senator Natalie Campbell-Rodriguez, and Senator is indeed here. We also have Vincent Sweeney, UN Resident Coordinator. Mr. Sweeney, welcome. Denise Antonio, Resident Representative of the UNDP Multi-Country Office. She's also here. Ladies and gentlemen, help me acknowledge her. We also have other members of the Diplomatic Corps who are here, representatives of the opposition as well. Dr. Brown-Burke present in the audience, other UN country representatives. I must also extend a very special welcome to Barbara Scott, Deputy Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica. I'm also acknowledging the Program Director for the Vision 2030 Secretariat, Pisha Brian Lee, who's also here as well. Permanent secretaries in various ministries, departments, and agencies, senior government officials, ladies and gentlemen joining us on Zoom and across all other platforms, members of the private sector, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen elsewhere. Good afternoon again. My name is Javon Keys, and the pleasure is absolutely mine to be the voice guiding you through this afternoon's official launch of the programmatic direction for the UNDP from 2022 to 2026. We have a wide range of activities slated for you this afternoon. But as we head into the formal proceedings, I ask you to help me welcome I ask you to focus your attention, ladies and gentlemen, to the video screens. That's those of you here, those online, as we have a very special welcome and greeting from the Honorable Tine Ferbert, Minister of Social Development and Seniors of Bermuda. We have that video presentation. And that deserves a round of applause. But before we do that, of course, ladies and gentlemen, let's please stand for the playing of the Jamaican National Anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. And it is at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we will have greetings coming from the Honorable Tine Ferbert, Minister of Social Development and Seniors of Bermuda.
Greetings, colleagues and friends. As the Minister of Social Development and Seniors in Bermuda, it is an honor for me to represent the government and the people of Bermuda at this official launch of the United Nations Country Program 2022 to 2026. Bermuda, like other small islands, experiences climate change, natural disasters, and pandemics that have and will continue to amplify gender inequalities, social economic vulnerabilities, and risk, thus reversing strong development gains. The joint program aims to provide a variety of options to assist Bermuda to build back equal post-COVID-19, placing Bermuda in a position to become a best practice example that will showcase how innovative financing vehicles, digital platforms, and women's empowerment principles can be leveraged to successfully close the financing gaps that women, persons with disabilities, and youth face. The joint program will better position Bermuda in achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals, in particular, Goal number 5, gender equality, Goal number 8, decent work and economic growth, and Goal number 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. I am excited to share with you in September 2022, Bermuda established its first ever Gender Affairs Council that will function in an advisory capacity to the Bermuda government. The establishment of the Gender Affairs Council demonstrates Bermuda's commitment to issues concerning gender balance related to employment, economic opportunity, safety, and security. I extend heartfelt congratulations to the UNDP on the launch of the country's program 2022 to 2026. Bermuda looks forward to continuing the collaboration with UNDP and other agencies. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause there for Minister of Social Development and Seniors of Bermuda, though as she shared with us some of the work that the UNDP has done and her clear intent to continue the work that we're doing as it relates to development. Now, this launch takes place at a critical time. It's the point where there are a number of global headwinds being spoken about as it relates to inflation and the concerns surrounding the possibility of recession. But it also takes place at a time where a number of countries are looking forward to development post-COVID-19. The pandemic is still here, yes, but the idea of looking forward to seeing how we can develop and strengthen our various areas within our various countries is critical. And this programmatic direction is going to be a core part of that. You agree with me? Indeed. So it is a very important discussion and launch that we're having here today. So we have a very special video presentation, a brief video presentation to show to you. And we ask again that you direct your attention to the video screens. And ladies and gentlemen, that deserves a round of applause. 47 years to the date, the partnership with Jamaica and the UNDP has been going, and today we celebrate the way forward. The direction from 2022 to 2026 as it relates to the partnership, not just with Jamaica, but all the other countries represented within the UNDP Caribbean network. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we have some more greetings coming your way, and I invite Barbara Scott, Deputy Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ. Make her welcome, please.
Senator the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the Honorable Minister Babsy Grange, what I saw, Minister Grange. Honorable Minister Owen Darrell, Minister of Youth, Culture and Sports in Bermuda, the Mrs. Natalie Campbell Rodriguez, Government Senator, Mr. Vincent Sweeney, UN Resident Coordinator, acting, Mrs. Denise Antonio, representative of the UNDP in Jamaica, heads of UN agencies that are here, other development agencies, heads of other development partners, staff of the UNDP, government representatives and representatives of civil society, ladies and gentlemen, all, good afternoon. Hope I'm not missing anybody. The Planning Institute of Jamaica is pleased to participate in the launch of the UNDP's 2022-2026 country program. The UNDP remains one of Jamaica's main development partners, providing well-needed grant resources which are targeted at critical areas across a range of sectors. I have often said that the value of UNDP's support to Jamaica's socio-economic development exceeds its monetary value. The 2022-2026 multi-country program resides in the United Nations Multi-Country Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework, which guides programming for the region towards the achievement of the 2030 Agenda. The country program localizes the development framework in alignment with Jamaica's Vision 2030 National Development Plan, and the PIOJ is pleased to have participated fully in the highly consultative process in which the country program was developed, and to have contributed to the crafting of a country program that recognizes local planning processes as reflected in its full alignment with Vision 2030 with respect to the thematic areas of social resilience and inclusion, which supports Goal 1 of Vision 2030, Jamaicans are empowered to achieve their full potential, citizen security and the rule of law, which supports Goal 2, the Jamaican society is secure, cohesive, and just, climate change resilience, which supports Goal 3, Jamaica has a healthy natural environment, and sustainable natural resource management, which supports Goal 1. The focus being given to these thematic areas in the new country program is well placed and well justified, as the UNDP has over the years developed an understanding of issues and a competitive advantage in the areas of poverty reduction, environment and climate change, disaster risk reduction, security, justice, and biodiversity conservation. The country program has indeed been well designed to support government's efforts to build back better and to build back greener after the pandemic. The UNDP has also over the years shown a willingness to explore creative partnerships around emerging priorities. Examples of projects in the country program that touch the pulse of some of Jamaica's most critical development challenges include the Salient Project, which is aimed at reducing small arms and light weapons, the Investor Map initiative, which is aimed at connecting investors to market-specific investment opportunities which support the attainment of SDG targets, and the Amplifying Youth Voice and Action project, which was completed, but which sought to enable youth participation in decision-making related to their own safety and security. We recall a range of other innovative projects implemented over time and anticipate that the same level of creativity and out-of-the-box thinking will characterize all the projects which will be supported under the country program. The Planning Institute would like to highlight the leadership, responsiveness, and adaptive nature of the UNDP's programs in meeting Jamaica's development needs. We note the UNDP's sterling contribution at the onset of COVID-19 when they teamed with the government and other agencies in providing a quick response to the country's need for critical and informed support. The UNDP demonstrated agility and leadership in the development of the External Support Coordination Platform, which is an electronic data management information system to track development assistance during crisis situations. We commend the UNDP for the systematic approach that is being taken to the conduct of ex-post evaluation of projects and programs and anticipate that this will be sustained under this country program. Additionally, we hope that the findings of these evaluations will continue to be used to inform further programming. In the current country program, we look forward to attention being paid to some critical areas such as continued close collaboration with the Planning Institute, ministries, departments, and agencies, and other stakeholders to develop, monitor, and evaluate projects and programs in a structured, coordinated, and efficient manner to ensure evidence-based decision-making. We hope there will be opportunities for targeted capacity building of government partners to contribute to better and more sustainable interventions, and we anticipate increased effort to extend initiatives undertaken by implementing longer-term programs. In closing, the Planning Institute recognizes the invaluable relationship that has been built with the UNDP through the development of several cycles of country strategies and country programs. We are grateful for this long-standing partnership with the organization and look forward to strengthening the collaboration and camaraderie which have characterized our cooperation with UNDP. We also look forward to deepening the friendships which we share with Mrs. Antonio and the entire UNDP team, who we now know are all committed to the single objective of assisting Jamaica to attain its full development potential. We at the Planning Institute are aware of the myriad implementation challenges that impact the quality of project implementation, and therefore the extent to which the much needed investments generate the expected and planned benefits. We ask the UNDP and other partners to accept our assurance that we will continue our efforts towards providing an enabling environment within which this valuable country program and our wider development portfolio can be implemented effectively and efficiently to achieve our Vision 2030 goals. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Ms. Barbara Scott, Deputy Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica. And you've diligently outlined the strong partnership the UNDP and Jamaica, and in particular the Planning Institute of Jamaica, has had over the years. At this juncture, let me also take the time to acknowledge our Director of Public Prosecution, Ms. Paula Llewellyn. Thank you so much for joining us. And the idea of Jamaica's continued, or the look towards the continued strengthening of that partnership and putting on the table the fact that you're looking for continued capacity building and the extension of various programs. That's important, and how we can continue to foster that stronger relationship, especially as Jamaica looks at tying together those sustainable development goals, SDGs, and our local Vision 2030. Thank you so much for sharing that perspective. At this time, I introduce the Honorable Frederick Mitchell, Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Public Service of the Bahamas. as he comes to us via a recorded video presentation. And we're working on that, and as we
UNDP is to our country. When Fred Mitchell, the Foreign Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and I want to join my voice in saying congratulations on the launch of the country program for UNDP in the Bahamas. That's going to be on Thursday, the 26th. I hope that all Bahamians understand how important UNDP is to our country. When I became foreign minister this time, the third time, I realized that it was very important since the hurricanes for UNDP and the work it's been doing. It has to do not only with solving some immediate problems, but the whole idea of development is that there has to be a mindset change. And UNDP has been at the forefront of trying to change minds so that we develop a country which is more sustainable, which is adapted to the climate changes that are taking place, and in which all of our people are included. I was particularly interested to find that there was a launch for the Social Services Minister to deal with people with disabilities. This is an increasingly important aspect of our population that needs support, and Bahamians are becoming more and more sensitized to the work which is necessary to support disabled people in our country. So thank you, UNDP, for that. Overall, then, congratulations to you for all the work that you're doing. I hope you have a successful launch. We in the Bahamas government and the Foreign Ministry will do all we can to support your work. Thank you, blessings, and bless UNDP.
Ladies and gentlemen, Minister of Foreign Affairs, there, Frederick Mitchell. So as we continue to look at the dynamics of what the UNDP has done throughout the region and will continue to do, I know you're eager to hear so much more about the programmatic approach from 2022 to 2026, and we're getting closer. But of course, the UNDP is dynamic and has contributed to a multiplicity of sectors, which also includes our orange economy. And in addition to talking about what the UNDP multi-country office in Jamaica has been doing, we also have for you some entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, we have coming your way shortly some very special guests. And as we stand by for them, I will also ask that let's have a little conversation in the meantime. So in 2017, we started the Agenda 2030, which was going for the goals and the idea of looking at sustainable development in Jamaica. Now, the unique thing about Jamaica is that our goals are aligned closely with the global sustainable development goals. Now, I have a special place in my heart for Vision 2030 and the SDGs because it also helps me to recognize my own individual role in development. And for those of you at home, we're going to have the conversation today surrounding how do we play our own parts in helping to advance the goals, leaving no one behind. And our hashtag today is indeed leaving no one behind and partner with UNDP. So you want to take this opportunity to share with a friend, share with your colleagues, and if you have not already done so, ensure that you share the links with today's presentation. We have a packed house here, and of course, we have a house standing by for some wonderful musical melodies. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to hear the Island Kings. That applause should be going as we introduce them, the Island Kings, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon, everyone. You can start the track right away, no delay. Thank you, sir. Turn it up just a little bit now, just a little bit now. One. Even though we have some problems, that's okay. We are still the best in the world. Never trade our region for another place. We are still the best in the world. I am a champion, champion. celebrate a region. I am a champion. Champion.
Little bit more track. Say
champion. Celebrate the region.
Hey, give me the yaki and the saltfish. Yeah. Mix it up with the rice and peas.
Come go down at the market. Tell Miss Jennifer to hold on play.
No pride in our region. Love no with of season.
Every time you see me, please remember I am a champion. 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 Celebrate the region. I am a champion. 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 Celebrate the region. This is the region that we love. This is the region that we love. Even though we little say we talawa, this is the region that we love. This is the region that we love. This is the region that we love. Even though we little say we talawa, this is the region that we love.
Learn this part now. Listen to this part. Say.
Oh,
you say. Little louder now. One last time. I am a champion. Celebrate. Champion. Celebrate.
champion. Celebrate our region. Celebrate our region. I am a champion. Celebrate, champion. Celebrate, champion. Celebrate our region.
All right. It doesn't matter where you're from.
All right.
If you want to get up, I know you're in your official clothes, but if you want to stand up, you can stand up with us because we're going to teach you some Jamaican dances now. Or you can sit. So the first one goes like this. Here go. Left. All right.
Hey.
And left.
Hey.
I will call this one Willie Bunk. So left. Hey. Right. Hey. Hey. One more time. Say Willie Bunk. Willie Bunk. Everybody start to the Willie Bunk. Willie Bunk. Willie Bunk. One next. So sway. Just move your foot. Sway. Move your foot. Sway. Move your foot. Sway. Move your foot. Sway. Just in with it. Sway. Your body. Everybody say.
Celebrate the region.
Thank you, we're the Island Kings, and we're going to see you really soon. Put your hands together for yourselves, for your Willie Bumps and your sweet. Thank you.
Celebrate our region. Ladies and gentlemen, Island Kings. No man, I know you had fun. I know I did. Celebrating our region as we celebrate the UNDP multi-country office in Jamaica and the launch of our development program directions for the next few years, 2022 to 2026. And I know you just got a taste of what's to come because we will have much more Island Kings coming your way a little later on. So I know we're still a little straitjacket because we're standing by for the rest of our formal proceedings, but not to worry. If you want to sweep and do a little broke out, as we'd say in Jamaica, we can have that a little later on. Thank you so much, Island Kings. So this time, ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute pleasure to invite the resident representative of the United Nations Development Program, UNDP. Now, Denise Antonio has more than 20 years' experience in the United Nations system. Now, before joining the United Nations, she held various positions, including responsibility in the United States of America. Denise is a certified public accountant in New York State and a graduate of business administration in accounting from Adelphi University. So she knows the figures. She knows the money. She is UNDP resident representative assigned to Jamaica, Bermuda, Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos Islands, served by the multi-country office based here in Kingston, Jamaica. She's also a resident representative for the UNDP Belize country office. She's married and a mother of 5. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our resident representative, Denise Antonio.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator of the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, and let me just divert a bit. I remember meeting you in 2019 and you said we were Spirit Tech. Minister of Transport and Mining, I'm not sure if he's here, the Honorable Audley Shaw, Minister Owen Darrell, Minister of Youth, Culture and Sports from Bermuda, thank you so much for joining us. Joining us online, Minister of Social Development and Seniors of Bermuda, the Honorable Tanae Ferbert. Chief Justice of Jamaica, Honorable Justice Brian Sykes. State Minister, I'm not sure he's here, Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, Honorable Franklin Witter. Permanent representatives of Jamaica to the United Nations, His Excellency Brian Wallace, who is also online, Senator Natalie Campbell Rodriguez. I'm not sure if Senator Sophia Fraser-Binns is here. She was supposed to be here. Permanent Secretaries, United Nations Resident Coordinator Acting, Mr. Vincent Sweeney. My colleagues, heads of agency in the UN country team, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Deputy Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, Ms. Barbara Scott, members of the media, senior government officials, private sector officials from Jamaica, Bermuda, and the Bahamas, here online, in location and joining us online. Other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of you. Like we saw on the video 47 years ago today, 26 January 1976, Jamaica and the United Nations Development Program signed the agreement that established UNDP here in Jamaica. But 17 months before that, on July 12, 1974, the government of the Bahamas became the first among our 5 partner countries and territories to formally establish an agreement with UNDP. We are privileged to celebrate nearly 50 years of valued partnership rooted in your development aspirations built on a shared vision for sustainable development. Today, we etch another milestone in this journey, a new 5-year country program aligned to the development plans of the countries and territories we serve. Our Global United Nations Development Program Strategic Plan, the UN Multi-Country Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework for the English and Dutch-speaking countries, and the Sustainable Development Goals. Over the years, and despite the increasing levels of vulnerability faced, which are climate change, the pandemic, inequalities, and the effect of the recent war in Ukraine, these governments have made remarkable progress in achieving various levels of economic growth and development. At this time, I want to commend each and every one of you for your commitment to the development of your nations. We also commend the various partners who play an integral role in advancing the development priorities, including the private sector, civil society, and community-based organizations. We do recognize that during these 5 decades of partnership, so much has changed in our development landscape. UNDP recently published our flagship Human Development Report, and it noted that for the first time in 32 years, more than 90% of the countries reported a decline in their human development indexes score in either 2020 or 2021. So you can see the impact of the crisis we have been having over the years. The deepening of multidimensional poverty is being felt by many, and particularly the most vulnerable in our societies. Of course, when we speak of multidimensional poverty, the reference to income alone is not enough to truly capture the true realities of poverty. A person who is poor suffers multiple disadvantages at the same time. For example, they have poor health, malnutrition, they have lack of clean water or electricity, poor quality of work, little education, and access to basic services. The 2022 Human Development Report reminds us of how uncertainty is shaping our lives and our future. As we expand our multilateral efforts to navigate these crises and their multiplied impact on planet and people, we at UNDP see this as an opportunity to strengthen our partnership with the people of Jamaica, Bermuda, Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, and Turks and Caicos Islands. UNDP is committed to helping you strengthen your resilience to crisis and to sustain the kind of progress that improves the lives of the poor, advances quality, and ensure those traditionally excluded from development gains are no longer left behind. Our UNDP 2022 to 2026 country program offers a uniquely tailored approach to reduce multidimensional poverty, inspired by our global offer of our 6 signature solutions. We intend to provide targeted and transformational integrated interventions through 4 priority areas. The first is social resilience and inclusion. The second is citizen safety and security and the rule of law. The third, so relevant for this region as well, is climate change resilience. And the fourth is sustainable natural resources management. Honorable ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to highlight some of the main focus of our 4 priority areas. To advance social resilience and inclusion, UNDP will support in the expansion of broadband access, increased access to financing and private sector engagement for sustainable development, enhance social accountability through inclusive decision-making, and evidence-based policy solutions. To address citizen safety and security and the rule of law, we will continue to support government's effort to reduce the proliferation of small arms and light weapons, eliminate sexual and gender-based violence. And like I said in the previous interview, when we talk about gender-based, we're not talking about women alone. We're talking about both male and female. And of course, Chief Justice would love to hear this, and DPP, enhance access to justice for all. To build climate change resilience and advance a low-carbon development pathway, UNDP will provide support to ensure government meets their international and their national climate change obligations, advance innovative, nature-based solutions for climate change adaptation and a greener society, enhance resilience to natural disasters. Finally, to promote sustainable natural resource management, we will support the expansion of alternative livelihood in green and blue economies, strengthen institutional and governance capacities of our regulatory bodies, and increase research and development of homegrown appropriate solutions. Enhancing the quality of people's lives is at the heart of the work we do, and we will harness South-South and triangular cooperation, digitalization, strategic innovation, and development financing to scale up development impact and to make solid contributions to resilient nation building. We aim to leave no one behind. While this may seem very ambitious, we are confident that the collective partnership of governments, international donor partners, civil society, private sector, and citizens, together we can. I cannot end without extending my sincere thanks and appreciation to the governments of Jamaica, Bermuda, Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, and Turks and Caicos. Thank you for allowing us to be your partner in your development journey. To the donor partners, both international and national, without your financial support and assistance, we would not be able to contribute towards national priorities. Last, but certainly not least, I want to ask my entire team to come and join me here right now. Come on, guys. And if there's, I think there might be some online as well. I'm not sure. Hurry up, guys, hurry up. Thank you all for your unwavering dedication and commitment despite all the challenges we have. I couldn't do this without you all. I want to especially thank the communications team, which is led by Ms. Jillian Scott, supported by Andrew, and the team who actually supported the committee on this, which is Mr. Jamara Marvell and Antoinette. They did all of this, and Mark, thank you very much for making this happen. I close with the African word, of course, because I'm African, right? So I got to close with it. It's called Ubuntu. It really means we are because of one another. Let's continue to work in oneness with humanity. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the faces behind the UNDP multi-country office in Jamaica, they deserve another round of applause. As they work together to help us realize our overarching goals, ladies and gentlemen. And that presentation outlining the key focuses, the programmatic priorities, which are social resilience and inclusion, citizen safety and security and rule of law, climate change resilience, sustainable natural resource management, and an overall look at the contribution of the UNDP in a multiplicity of areas across the board in the various countries is a nice segue, ladies and gentlemen, into our next presentation. Many will ask, though we hear all the time UNDP, and we know it's the United Nations Development Program, but what really is the UNDP? How is it defined globally? And how does it set out its support framework to help achieve the global goals? You saw some of the faces here today, but who are the others involved in driving the work of the UNDP to ensure that we leave no one behind? These are all questions that we hope to answer, ladies and gentlemen, in this next presentation.
In a world where poverty, inequality, and exclusion are on the rise, and nations remain vulnerable to crises like climate change, natural disaster, pandemic, too many of us are being left behind. Our journey to the Sustainable Development Goals, though delayed, is not denied. This challenge drives the mission of the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, and energizes our team here and across 170 countries and territories. We are UNDP, determined to eradicate poverty, reduce inequalities and exclusion, and build resilience so countries can sustain progress. This is who we are and why we exist. We are UNDP, answering the call to solve these challenges through 6 signature solutions tailored to your country's needs and priorities. They're UNDP's multifaceted plan, focusing on keeping people out of poverty, ensuring governance for peaceful, just, and inclusive societies, facilitating crisis prevention and increased resilience while focusing on nature-based solutions for development, championing clean and affordable energy and gender equality. And now, the UNDP Multi-Country Office located in Jamaica is offering UNDP's signature solutions to Jamaica, Bermuda, Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, and Turks and Caicos Islands. Our signature solutions are the inspiration for a new country program designed in partnership with government and civil society. Together, we're taking aim at multidimensional poverty by addressing social resilience and inclusion, citizen safety and security, and rule of law, climate change resilience, and sustainable natural resource management. This means day to day, we are on the ground, supporting crisis prevention, response, and recovery from natural disaster, championing livelihoods that preserve and heal our planet, helping the vulnerable access opportunities to thrive, supporting countries accelerate action on climate change, supporting your vision for clean energy and water security, partnering for equity, justice, and security for all. We are UNDP, ready to mobilize development financing for your big ideas, ready to advance the effectiveness of your solutions with innovation and digitalization so that your solutions make a real difference in people's lives. We are UNDP. Count on us to maintain our global reputation for transparency and accountability on your development needs. Count on us to help you access our global policy network of experts and resources. If your goal is to end poverty, lift the marginalized, and strengthen your nation against crisis, think UNDP. We are ready. We are ready to partner on your solutions to eradicate poverty, reduce inequalities and exclusion, and build resilience so your countries can sustain progress. We are UNDP.
Ladies and gentlemen, UNDP Multi-Country Office in Jamaica, a reminder to you, just in case you forgot, what UNDP is about and our mission towards leaving no one behind. A prudent reminder, ladies and gentlemen, as we launch our country program 2022 to 2026. I see the applause there, an eager applause holding, so I give you permission so to do. The pleasure is distinctly mine, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce our keynote speaker, a woman who's very integral in diplomacy here in Jamaica and across the region, in fact. The Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith has been an attorney at law for close to 22 years, having worked in both private practice and as corporate in-house counsel. Now, having been first elected in March 2016 as Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, in 2020, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith was again reappointed as our Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. And the minister brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise and experience to the position, and is Jamaica's first female Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade.
Thank you for your kind words, Mr. Moderator, and may I say what a pleasure it's been to be a part of your audience. You've been flawless in your facilitation this evening. Thank you. Our wonderful Spirit Tech host, Ms. Denise Antonio, UNDP Resident Representative, Mr. Chief Justice, Madam DPP, Senator Campbell Rodriguez, my colleague Senator in the House, MP Brown-Burke, Angela Brown-Burke, present here today, Minister Darrell, visiting with us from Bermuda, who has been so kind to split his time with the WADA conference to spend time with us. Welcome, sir. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Acting UN Resident Coordinator, Mr. Vincent Sweeney, members of the Diplomatic Corps, stakeholders, members of international organizations, all of you present here, partners in Jamaica's sustainable development. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure being here with you. And I see Island Kings in the background too. I wanted to get up, but I felt constrained. Maybe later. Maybe later. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to be here with you at what has so far been a wonderful reflection on over 4 decades of partnership between the UNDP and Jamaica, and indeed the wider region. Since Jamaica's entry into the United Nations as a member state 60 years ago, we've played an outsized, and indeed I am unlikely to be contradicted in saying an outstanding role in the UN system, contributing to significant matters including human rights, decolonization, environmental sustainability, and social and economic development. The government of Jamaica understands that we must play our part to build the strong multilateral cooperation that is necessary for developing countries to participate in global governance and to benefit from development cooperation. Jamaica is therefore proud of our excellent collaboration with the UNDP. It is the principal conduit for assistance to developing countries within the UN system, and therefore a particularly important nexus to our participation in the UN system. This occasion is made even more special by the fact, as you have heard earlier, that today, the 26th of January, is in fact the 47th anniversary of the signing in Kingston of the 1976 Basic Assistance Agreement between the UNDP and the government of Jamaica. I'm sorry, that was a date confusion moment, as I think I was working with the 25th being my day of operation today, so I've lost a day. This agreement formalized the arrangements of support and, importantly, established the UNDP's physical presence headed by a resident representative in Jamaica. Of the countries now under the jurisdiction of the UNDP multi-country office, Jamaica was the second to have signed such an agreement following the Bahamas in 1974. Today, we are proud to be home to the UNDP's operations across the 5 territories, and I will repeat them for those of you in the audience who did not make notes: Jamaica, the Bahamas, Bermuda, the Cayman Islands, and the Turks and Caicos Islands. The preamble of the 1976 agreement encapsulates the spirit which underpins the partnership that the government of Jamaica has enjoyed with the UNDP over these past decades. It speaks to the UNDP's mandate to, and I quote, support and supplement the national efforts of developing countries at solving the most important problems of their economic development and to promote social progress and better standards of life. It also speaks to the government of Jamaica's, and I quote again, request for assistance from the UNDP for the benefit of its people. This is why we are here this evening, in recognition that no country can go it alone, and in celebration of the trusted friends and partners that have continued to help with us along the way. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Today marks the opening of yet another chapter in the relationship between Jamaica and the UNDP. I would like to add my sincere congratulations and appreciation to the UNDP for the careful and dedicated work undertaken to produce the new country program for the period 2022 to 2026. Since the launch of the last country program in 2017, and I was honored to be a part of that one as well, the world has seen and in fact continues to experience several destabilizing and far-reaching events. We've lived through the COVID-19 pandemic, which brought our way of life to practically a standstill, and from which we are still striving to emerge and prosper. We have witnessed the tragic return in Europe of war that is taking us to what I've heard elegantly described as the precarious limits of geopolitical tension. They've also impacted significantly food and energy insecurity. Of course, we continue to face the pernicious impacts of climate change on our communities and on our daily lives. These interlocking crises, global uncertainty and insecurity, have underscored the vulnerability of small island developing states like Jamaica, and indeed of developing countries as a whole. While we remain guided by the roadmap set out under the UN 2030 Agenda and Sustainable Development Goals and Jamaica's own Vision 2030, the pathway to achieving these goals has become significantly more challenging and sometimes quite simply unclear. One of the most often repeated questions nowadays in diplomatic circles is whether countries will in fact be able to meet the globally agreed 2030 targets. In these unprecedented times, however, we here have not lost hope, but we do recognize the need for strategic partnerships which respond to the needs of today and prepare us for the emerging needs of tomorrow. Partnerships have never been before more critical. We therefore welcome the commitment of the UNDP and the commitment, in fact, that it has shown to consultation with policymakers, development practitioners, and stakeholders at varying levels to ensure closer alignment between the desired outcomes of the UNDP and the priorities articulated in our National Development Plan. These national goals, we are proud to report, are over 90% aligned with the international standards of the UN SDGs. I've just returned from the summit of the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, CELAC, in Buenos Aires, where the member states the need in our region for more integrated and inclusive approaches to development. Jamaica repeated our call for a realignment of the international financial architecture with the SDGs, a call which has over the last few years been picked up and built on by more countries, but is still lacking sufficient action. We believe that this is one way in which we would certainly remove one of the most cross-cutting and fundamental constraints on achieving Agenda 2030, that is access to capital. In the absence of such adjustments, however, the issue of how we work becomes even more important to our success, nationally and globally. The UNDP's emphasis on collaboration to become more effective, strategic, and coherent is therefore to be commended and recommended. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade has been privileged to be a part of that collaborative process of developing the present country program alongside other MDAs represented here, led by the Planning Institute of Jamaica. We are satisfied that the country program adheres to the standards of the UN Multi-Country Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework 2022 to 2026. The program sets out ambitious but practical projects to be undertaken under 4 priority areas in which we feel the UNDP has demonstrated comparative advantage. 1, social resilience and inclusion. 2, citizen safety, security, and the rule of law. 3, climate change resilience. And 4, sustainable national resource management. Now, you would have heard this several times. If there is a raffle later with this as a question, I expect there to be a winner. Our review of the country program indicates that the UNDP recognizes that the threat of the climate crisis to Jamaica and the wider Caribbean is of particular significance. By way of reminder, we are the second most at-risk region in the world, coming only after the Asia-Pacific region. Furthermore, it's well known that small island developing states expend close to 20 times more on climate-related loss and damage than countries in North America and Europe. So this rolling, if we want to term it, an economic fallout of climate change has more recently now been compounded by the shock of the COVID-19 pandemic, which resulted in GDP falling by an estimated 9.9% here in 2020, the largest decline in Jamaica's history. The country program also takes stock of Jamaica's social protection system, the gender equality gap, crime and violence, and the distribution of poverty between rural and urban areas, among other critical factors. The program reflects targeted responses to gaps in these areas and beyond within the framework of the UNDP's 6 signature solutions about which you have just heard. Insofar as they've been tailored for Jamaica, they include for us digital transformation through the expansion of broadband access to underserved communities, which is absolutely critical, and I believe an area which persons who may have thought before the pandemic was not of significant importance to us have realized how cross-cutting and how necessary digital transformation is. Support to bring about systemic change in the justice system using equitable human rights and gender-responsive approaches. Support for the implementation of our NDCs and nationally determined contributions to fulfill our international climate-related commitments, as well as support to boost Jamaica's capacity to sustainably extract and transform locally sourced development minerals into manufacturing, construction, and agricultural products. We recognize that the prospects for the success of the 2022-2026 country program are to an extent related to the strength and level of support of the overall UN system, which from a regional standpoint is led by the Regional Coordinator's Office. The UNRCO came into existence during the previous programming period and has been strengthened, and indeed has also strengthened the coordination of the UN's work in the region, playing a critical role in improving joint programming and related support of the delivering as one modality. In that connection, I would like to take just a moment to recognize the valuable contributions of Mr. Gary Coney while serving in that capacity over the period 2020 to 2022, and to also wish him every success in his newest position as Regional Director for UNICEF for Latin America and the Caribbean. In that connection, I would like to also state Jamaica's confidence that within the frame of multilateralism, the UNDP's understanding of the Jamaican culture and Jamaican needs will allow within its programs the recognition of national particularities. We therefore truly anticipate that in its implementation, the country program will bring the UNDP closer to achieving regional harmony while ensuring that this regional outlook is balanced by the individuality of particular countries' development. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the UNDP has been one of Jamaica's key development partners throughout the majority of our independent history, and we value the strong working relationship which exists based on a mutual commitment to keeping the country on a sustainable development growth path. We mark today as another positive milestone in that engagement. I give you the assurance, as we did in the preceding program, that the government of Jamaica stands ready to give its full support in the delivery of the 2022-2026 program for the benefit of our people. I wish to reiterate my deep appreciation to Ms. Antonio, UNDP resident representative, and her team at the UNDP Multi-Country Office in Jamaica, who continue to support all the territories under their jurisdiction in building strong and sustainable societies that are able to deliver for our citizens. The government of Jamaica is confident that our trusted partnership with the UNDP will allow us to deliver on the ambitious undertaking of the country program, and we look forward to our continued productive collaboration. I thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Kamina Johnson-Smith, rubber stamping, indeed, our new programmatic direction, the country program launched there, and highlighting how fit for purpose it is, not just for the local framework or the local needs, but across the region, how fit for purpose the program is, looking at the fact that as the countries being impacted navigate the various adverse shocks and the possibilities of those shocks, having also consider the constraints of financing and other global headwinds, the reality of having this programmatic approach is critical to helping us achieve those global goals, leaving no one behind. Thank you so much, Minister Johnson-Smith. Now, I know you have to leave shortly, but as we do that, I again invite you to make your way to the platform, as I also invite our resident representative, Denise Antonio, as we have a very special presentation to make, as we have a copy of the new program, that's the 2022 to 2026 country program. So as I invite Denise Antonio, I also invite our minister to make her way to the lectern as we prepare to make that handover. Let me also take the opportunity as well to invite the representative of the opposition, Dr. Angela Brown-Burke. If you kindly make your way. Make her welcome. As we do the official handing over. Absolutely. So we'll start with Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith, and then we'll do the photo opportunities so you can have lots of smiles. And of course, for those of you at home joining us live online, we thank you so much for joining us. So the country program 2022-2026 being handed over there by our country representative to the minister, as well as the opposition representative, Dr. Angela Brown-Burke. More photo opportunities. So keep those smiles going. Thank you so much, ladies. Let's also point out to you, ladies and gentlemen, that there are various QR codes around the room that will allow for you here in our audience and those of you online as well to be able to download the program. And of course, we want you all to be able to get access to this, because it's critical for you to understand what exactly this program looks like and what it means for you here and at home. So of course, there are QR codes available here, and it will be available online. And of course, we'll have handouts here with much information for you to be able to take home and share with your friends and families as we talk about development and the way forward. I now invite, ladies and gentlemen, Assistant Resident Representative Ava White Anderson to do the vote of thanks. As I said earlier, ladies and gentlemen, our minister will have to step away for a moment, but we hope you can join us a little later on for the expo so you can get a chance to see what's on display. We do hope so. Ava, make her welcome, please.
All established protocols observed. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of our resident representative and the hard-working UNDP team. Firstly, we wish to express our appreciation to all the ministers of government and senators who took the time to join us here in person and online. We are indeed resolute in our commitment to support the government and people of each island state to achieve their varied yet similar national development goals. I would like to specifically thank our speakers, the Honorable Tine Ferbert, Minister of Social Development and Seniors in Bermuda, Honorable Frederick Mitchell, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Public Service in the Bahamas, Senator the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade in Jamaica, Ms. Barbara Scott, Deputy Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica. We are honored to have heard from each of you. Thank you for your reaffirmed commitment to partnering with UNDP. We would also like to acknowledge Honorable Chief Justice, the UN Resident Coordinator, Permanent Secretaries, Madam DPP, heads of agencies, dignitaries, members of the Diplomatic Corps, or partners from the development community, private sector, academia, civil society, all of you who are with us here in the room as well as online. Thank you for your presence and participation. Given the complexities we face, we know that it is only through our joint efforts that we can achieve the shared goal of sustainable development for those we serve. We look forward to our strengthened partnership over the next 5 years. To our engaging and energetic MC, Mr. Keys, thank you for bringing our program to life. Certainly, it has been most delightful to have you. To Island Keys, thank you for your regal and very spirited presentation. We'll continue the dancing a little bit later. We are indeed champions. Members of the media, excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sharing with us in this auspicious occasion. Of course, to the hardworking UNDP team who were on the podium earlier, taken by surprise by our fearless leader, thank you for your diligence and your service. As I close, please allow me to share the words of a poem written by our country specialist, Mr. Richard Kelly, who is joining us from New York online. The poem is entitled Country Program Rhyme. There are islands in the beautiful Caribbean Sea, so scenic, a melting pot of culture and diversity. They are dotted with rivers, mountains, and streams. Once you have tasted these islands, you have fulfilled your dreams. With these islands, UNDP has shared over 45 years, working together with our partners to alleviate fears. UNDP has worked with the governments on reducing poverty, improving gender equality, protecting natural resources to achieve prosperity. Today, we shared our ambitious plan to help you reach every boy, girl, woman, and man. We know you intend to leave no one behind, hence our country program is well-timed. We have a long-standing commitment, working tirelessly for your national development. We join you in inclusive growth revolution with our 6 signature solutions: digitalization, strategic innovation, and development financing must be intact for inclusive development impact. So before you go, just for you to know, where there's poverty, it is our hope to contribute to prosperity. Where there's pain and sorrow, we hope to bring a better tomorrow. Where there is inequality, conflict, and injustice, we hope to contribute to parity, peace, democratic governance, and fairness. Where there's a mouth to feed, a mind to fill, a hand to hold, a tear to wipe, a resource to protect, a wound to heal, a conflict to resolve, rights to uphold, and development to occur, UNDP will be there. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Ava White Anderson, our Assistant Resident Representative in the Multi-Country Office here in Jamaica. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a wonderful hour plus of going through the direction as to the focus of development in the region through the UNDP Multi-Country Office based here in Kingston, Jamaica, representing the interests of Jamaica, Bermuda, the Cayman Islands, Turks and Caicos Islands, and the Bahamas. Ladies and gentlemen, we have shared the vision And of course, we know you want to get so much more information, so you can find that online. And let me look to the camera. Yes, those of you at home as well, we're talking to you. You can find the information online at the UNDP website. That's www.undpja.com. Let me confirm that for you. Don't want to tell you foolishness, but it is online at undpjm.com. There we have it. And of course, you want to continue. undpjm.org. There we go. So we have it correctly now. undpjm.org. And of course, you want to find out much more information surrounding the work that we are doing outside of the launch of our multi-country program 2022 to 2026. Visit the website. We are on all social media platforms. And you don't want to miss anything else that we have left, because though we're wrapping up the official side of things, you heard Island Kings earlier. Now we're going to loosen up a little bit and provide for you the opportunity to share and dance and sing. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our expo coming up. So for those of you online, we ask that you bear with us for another 2 or so minutes as we change things up a bit. For those of you here, we ask you to stay with us as well. You can mix and mingle a little bit more, and of course, peruse all the booths set up for your knowledge and information. My name is Javon Keys. I'm not going anywhere. We'll be right here in a moment as we head straight into the expo shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
In a world where poverty, inequality, and exclusion are on the rise, and nations remain vulnerable to crises like climate change, natural disaster, pandemic, too many of us are being left behind. Our journey to the Sustainable Development Goals, though delayed, is not denied. This challenge drives the mission of the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, and energizes our team here and across 170 countries and territories. We are UNDP, determined to eradicate poverty, reduce inequalities and exclusion, and build resilience so countries can sustain progress. This is who we are and why we exist. We are UNDP, answering the call to solve these challenges through 6 signature solutions tailored to your country's needs and priorities. They're UNDP's multifaceted plan, focusing on keeping people out of poverty, ensuring governance for peaceful, just, and inclusive societies, facilitating crisis prevention and increased resilience while focusing on nature-based solutions for development, championing clean and affordable energy and gender equality. And now, the UNDP Multi-Country Office located in Jamaica is offering UNDP's signature solutions to Jamaica, Bermuda, Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, and Turks and Caicos Islands. Our signature solutions are the inspiration for a new country program designed in partnership with government and civil society. Together, we're taking aim at multidimensional poverty by addressing social resilience and inclusion, citizen safety and security, and rule of law, climate change resilience, and sustainable natural resource management. This means day to day, we are on the ground, supporting crisis prevention, response, and recovery from natural disaster, championing livelihoods that preserve and heal our planet, helping the vulnerable access opportunities to thrive, supporting countries accelerate action on climate change, supporting your vision for clean energy and water security, partnering for equity, justice, and security for all. We are UNDP, ready to mobilize development financing for your big ideas, ready to advance the effectiveness of your solutions with innovation and digitalization so that your solutions make a real difference in people's lives. We are UNDP. Count on us to maintain our global reputation for transparency and accountability on your development needs. Count on us to help you access our global policy network of experts and resources. If your goal is to end poverty, lift the marginalized, and strengthen your nation against crisis, think UNDP. We are ready. We are ready to partner on your solutions to eradicate poverty, reduce inequalities and exclusion, and build resilience so your countries can sustain progress. We are UNDP.
Check.
2026 for the United Nations Development Program multi-country office based in Jamaica that has oversight for Jamaica, Bermuda, the Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, and the Turks and Caicos Islands. So earlier we spoke about the fact that development is cross-cutting and involving every single actor. We all have a part to play in ensuring the continuation of development. And this programmatic direction is a part of that. So for those of you just joining us, we had some beautiful performances earlier, a beautiful performance rather by Island Kings, where they told us that we are champions as a region. And for my audience here, they are on standby, and for those of you at home who may not be able to see, we do have a packed house of persons engaging, and they are making use of the booth setup to have various information about the program being absorbed and taken up. So as the audience stands by for Island Kings, I now also invite you at home to have your own collective rounds of applause as I ask the audience to now pay attention to the musical melodies of the Island Kings.
Liquor volume, we can't eat it. Liquor volume. I shall sing as long as I live, and as long as I live, I shall sing, as long as I live, and as long as I live, I shall sing. Watch me now, even though I'm old but I'm young, a little weak but I know I am strong. Old enough to know what's right, young enough to dance all night, too weak to hold it back, strong enough to hold a heart attack. The situation sweet my soul, as long as I live, I shall sing. As long as I live, and as long as I live, I shall sing, as long as I live, and as long as I live, I shall sing, as long as I live, and as long as I live, I shall sing, as long as I live, and as long as I live, I shall sing, I shall. I feel like jumping, I feel like moving, feel like dancing, feel like moving, la 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 la. Just get 54, 46 was my number, and right now someone else got that number. Oh Lord, 54, 46 was my number, and right now someone else got that number. I say yeah, I say yeah, I say yes now, I say yeah. and give it to the policeman. I wouldn't do that, no, no, no. I'm not a fool to hurt myself. They put the cards on it. I say that they were wrong. They were wrong.
Help us now.
Give it to me one time. Give it to me 2 times. Give it to me 3. Give it to me 4 times. I say yeah. I say yeah. I say yes now. I say yeah. I say yeah. I say yeah. I say yeah, baby. I say yeah. 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 Give it to me one time.
And as we champion providing medium against inequality, and as we turn up the track a little bit more,
when you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them on. I'm on your side. When times get rough and friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled waters, I will lay me down.
when you're down and out, when you're on the street, oh, when the evening falls so hard, I will comfort you, and I'll take your part. When the darkness comes and the pain is all around, like a bridge over troubled waters, I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled waters. I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water. Sail on, silver girl. Sail on by, 'cause your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way. See how they shine. See how they shine. Tell me if you need a friend. I'm sailing right behind, like a bridge over troubled waters. I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled waters. I will lay me down. bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down. I will lay me down. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and
Thank you.
gentlemen, Island Kings, some more for you from Island Kings.
One final one for us. We're taking it back. Run it straight away, no delay, Mr. DJ. From the top with that one, please.
I've got sunshine, oh, on a cloudy day, yeah. When it's cold and shivering outside, I've got the month of May.
I guess you say, what can make me feel this way? My girl, talking about my girl, my girl, my girl, my girl, talking about my girl, my girl.
I've got so much honey. The bees, they envy me. Oh, now. Hey, I got a sweeter song than the birds in the tree. Yep. And you can sing this one with me. Let's go.
I guess you say
what?
What can make me feel this way? My girl, talking about my girl, my girl. One more time, say my girl, my girl, talking about my girl, my girl. Say,
yes, sir.
So in love with you, whatever you want to do is alright with me, 'cause you make me feel so brand new. Yeah, baby, and I wanna spend my life with you. Oh, so let's stay together. Loving you whether times are good or bad, happy or sad. Times are good or bad, happy or sad. Times are good or bad, happy or sad. When I wake up in the morning, love,
You can put your hands together
come
for
on,
this one.
and my heart is filled with pain.
Hey, big up the lady with the hey.
The smile I had upon my face is gone. Can't see the sunshine from the rain.
Let's go.
But when I think of you, and the world's alright with me. Oh, just one thought of you, and I know it's gonna be
come on, let's go now.
a lovely day. A lovely day. When I think of you, and the world's alright with me. Oh, just one thought of you, and I know it's gonna be hey, a lovely day, 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 hey, lovely day, lovely day, a lovely day. Come on, a lovely day.
Lovely day, lovely day.
Lovely day, lovely day, lovely day,
Hey,
a lovely day, 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 lovely day.
Again,
Lovely
again,
day.
again, 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 again.
Lovely, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day.
Thank you for having us. We are
Thank you
Island
so much.
Kings.
Ladies and gentlemen, Island Kings, such a beautiful, beautiful composition of musical melodies from the gentlemen from Island Kings. Thank you so much for that lovely performance. And I'm sure those of you here and at home enjoyed that composition. So we're going to head straight into various fireside chats. And of course, in addition to that, for those of you at home joining us, we do have various booths set up. And we are going to take some time to go through them, talk about what's on offer. If it is that you're just joining us, we just ended a few moments ago the official launch of the country program for UNDP running 2022 to 2026. And of course, you can find much more information on that online at the UNDP website at www.undp.org/Jamaica. That's www.undp.org/Jamaica. And of course, you can get access to the country plan, the country program 2022 to 2026 online at the various websites as well. We want you to continue sharing what's happening here using the hashtags partner with UNDP and hashtag leaving no one behind. You want to tell a friend, tell a neighbor. We have discussions surrounding development, Vision 2030, and the Sustainable Development Goals. And this taking place here is a part of that strategic direction as we stand by to have those fireside chats and discussions take place here. And also, we stand by to give you some more as it relates to the expo. Of course, we appreciate you joining us, and I'm sure you enjoy the musical melodies of Island Kings. And of course, for those of you who are interested in the development work of the UNDP, you want to also follow them online at UNDP Jamaica on all platforms. So UNDP is here to help strengthen the development framework across Jamaica and the region. And we are indeed here and ready to share with you. Now I have some very special guests who are going to be joining me for a discussion this evening as we look at some of the partners with which the UNDP has worked over the years. And the UNDP has done solid work with the various agencies and arms of the Ministry of Justice, to include the Office of the Chief Justice and the Court Administration of Jamaica. And I have two very special guests who are going to be joining me, including here Tricia Cameron Anglin, Executive Director of the Court Administration of Jamaica. And joining her shortly as well is our Chief Justice of Jamaica, Justice Brian Sykes. So I'm going to start out the discussion.
Sure, certainly.
How have you enjoyed our launch this afternoon?
It was a wonderful launch, and I'm looking forward to the partnership and collaboration with the UNDP. We have had a wonderful exchange, and we have had a wonderful collaboration so far with UNDP. Denise, Ava, and the team, they have certainly supported the strengthening of our justice programs, especially in the courts. We have seen many initiatives implemented, successful ones, and positive change which have flowed from the contribution from the UNDP. And so we feel very privileged, and we feel very happy to be partnering in the 2022 to 2026 framework, and we look forward to what's going to come in that partnership. And so with me is the Honorable Chief Justice. He is, of course, the head of the judiciary, and he will share with you some of the successes that we've seen in the past and what with UNDP as our partner, as a key partner.
Indeed, Justice Sykes,
in the justice system.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir. So the UNDP has done a wide range of work within the justice system. Could you talk to us about how that has helped the job that you do across the court system?
Well, in terms of the humanizing the court, so to speak, when we speak of care spaces, like for children, is something that our courts don't have a tradition of making provision for persons who turn up at the courts with small children. Because as you know, in our society, that tends to be a problem for persons when they have to engage with the courts. And so the care spaces can facilitate them participating in the process.
Can you
And
adjust your mic just a little bit more?
It's a
Thank you.
critical component of what you speak about when you talk about gender equality. Because in our society, a lot of the persons, more often than not, it's the women who end up caring for the children and are actually looking after the children. And so when they have to engage with the court, oftentimes they don't have anyone to leave them with. And so if it is that you can provide an opportunity for the children to be cared for while they're engaging in the court process, then that will enhance their ability to interact with the justice system.
And those care spaces indeed were a part of the partnership with the UNDP.
Yes.
I mean, what's the sentiment you get from members of the judiciary as it relates to the improvements that have been put in place through the partnerships with the justice system and the UNDP?
So far it has been welcomed by them, and we look forward to more in the next cycle here, the next 5 years.
2022 to 2026.
Yes.
Exactly. And the care spaces, we found that members of the public, the communities, they have been very receptive. Here's a space that they can, when they come into the court, vulnerable witnesses, persons who may have their children and want to have somewhere to keep them, want to be able to attend court and be able to perhaps even meet with their attorneys, and there's not a space, a dedicated space that they can have that kind of care and that kind of dignity. Now through the UNDP, we have that in some of our courts, and so this is an initiative.
What we
which
want
will
to do is
continue.
really to extend it to all the courts. It becomes a feature of the courts as they currently exist, and as we build new courthouses, that is accommodated as a part of the standard design feature for the courts. That's where we want to get to.
Indeed, and we're looking forward to that kind of partnership. The JUST program is also another initiative through which the UNDP has partnered with the Court Administration of Jamaica. So could you share with us the impact of the JUST program?
The JUST program has been very impactful in terms of records and information management. As you know, a court is a place of records.
And indeed, I'm sure Justice Sykes can talk about the importance of having those records in place.
Those records, yes, and especially now we are moving into that era of digitalization, and it's important for us to have the records not only kept in a safe place, but that they're accessible and that they're digitized so we can reach them at our fingertips. So this is one of the major programs that we'll be partnering with the UNDP on, our Records and Information Management Program, which will improve and enhance records and information management within the wider judiciary at all our courthouses.
And of course, that will also help to improve the efficiency of the work that you do.
Well, clearly, I mean, it is something that we have to acknowledge, but it recently played out, and it's still playing out, for example, with the traffic tickets. Because what has been happening there is that the police have gone digital, and our records management inside the courts has not been what it ought to be, and hence you see the significant delays. So that experience, so like the Kingston Traffic Court over the last 2 to 3 weeks will demonstrate the absolute necessity to enhance our records management through digitization. Because had we had that in place, you would have seen, or you would not have seen the crowds that you are now seeing. So with proper records management in a digital environment, you can search the records quickly, efficiently, and therefore provide the service that is needed.
All right, thank you so much for sharing with us the work that and the collaboration that has been taking place between the justice system here in Jamaica and the United Nations Development Program. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before you go?
Well, just to thank the United Nations Development Program for partnering with us, and our most recent collaboration involves the period now of moving forward with the digitization of the operations of the courts. They funded a trip to Rwanda, including Mrs. Cameron Anglin, the Minister of Justice, the Permanent Secretary. And so it was very good to see another developing country who has made significant strides in managing their court processes. And so we have learned a lot on that, which we are taking back here, which we have taken back here to implement.
So implementing best practices and
Yes.
looking to improve local system. Thank you so much for joining me, Chief Justice Brian Sykes and Trisha Cameron Anglin, Executive Director of the Court Administration of Jamaica. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
And all the best to the UNDP.
So you just heard it there, the partnerships being done with the UNDP and the Court Administration of Jamaica, as well as so many other partners. We're going to talk so much more about what exactly those partnerships look like. We have other agencies represented here, including NEPA. And we're going to have a conversation with them in a moment, but I'm sure you can hear the excitement in the background because so much is taking place here at AC Marriott. We are having our mini expo where various booths are set up, and I can describe for you the fact that there is, in addition to a number of UNDP agencies, there are also the Court Administration of Jamaica, Vision 2030 Secretariat. We also have the Bureau of Gender Affairs here, and we're going to hear a lot more about what's happening as I stand by to throw to Mr. Andrew Laidley, Communication Associate at the UNDP.
Javon, I am joined here by the Commissioner and the Deputy Commissioner of the Mines and Geology Division. And can you tell us a little bit about the projects that are going between the Mines and Geology Division and the UNDP? Commissioner.
Okay, we are actually want to look at the project that is going now. The very now project. It has to do with our mining cadastre, and my deputy, Mrs. Plummer, she is the person that really in charge of the day-to-day managing to put this project in place. It's actually, it's not a paper base. Normally we have a paper base, paper base data, but now we are going to move into digital. And this comes through the help from the UNDP. So Mrs. Plummer can give you more details because since she is the person that directly in charge. So I'll let my deputy have a say. I'll tell you more about that particular of the assistance through this program.
Okay, so Mrs. Plummer, over to you with the details.
Okay, so I'll take you back a few years. I can't remember exactly when it was, but it started out with a web map. So you will see a poster there where there was just data techniques in public institutions where several of our officers went out for training. So you have to do a return to work project. So part of the return to work project was to do a web map looking at the quarries, the mines, etc. that we have in Jamaica. And coming out of that, there was also a baseline study that was done off Jamaica. And it said in terms of the whole fact that, as he said, that we're paper-based. So all our files are on paper. You have to go and, you know, everything is separate. So the thought was to get a mining cadastre, and then UNDP now, through the ACPU EU project, would have funded that process. So we have gone through phase 1. We launched it last year, March, but the consultant is coming now to iron out some of the details.
So tell me, what are some of your expectations with the UNDP working together and partnering with the UNDP for the SDGs? What are some of your expectations now with the new country program?
Okay, well, the expectations are just more of the same. So we've had a wonderful partnership for these several years that we've worked together. So we would have received in terms of capacity building for our staff members and also for the players within the industry when you look at the stakeholders. So they would also have received training. And another program I want to brag about is the program to certify quarry managers. So with funding through the program, we would have been able to have a program at Excelsior Community College where operators can go in and be trained as quarry managers. So that is also lifting the profile of the industry, which is what we want to do. So we really see it as twofold, and that's what we expect to continue. So we can get some benefits as the regulators, plus the persons who we regulate. That they also.
All right, thank you so much, Deputy Commissioner and Commissioner of the Mines and Geology Division, right here at the launch of the UNDP Country Program 2022 to 2026. Javon, it's back to you.
Andrew Laidley, Communications Associate with the UNDP. Now we shift focus here, but still on the environment. So you would have heard the discussion with the Mines and Geology Department. And joining me now is Ainsworth Carroll, Director of Planning and Projects at the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
So, I mean, environment is a critical part of development and sustainable development, and UNDP and NEPA has partnered on a myriad of executions. So talk to us about that partnership.
All right, so we have had a storied history with the United Nations Development Program, where we have utilized a partnership and collaboration to fulfill a number of goals, specifically on the Vision 2030, and of course, you know that ties in with the SDGs. Specifically, we have collaborated on issues related to climate adaptation and climate change, where we have looked at several issues relating to this topic. You know, chief among them which is perhaps the coastal resilience, and we speak about also watershed management. One major collaboration that we have had in the past was with a project that we developed the watershed areas management mechanism from, which helps us with our degraded watersheds.
And that's an important consideration, improving our watersheds, because water is life. And the idea of ensuring that our watersheds are sustainably maintained is a critical part of that. What other areas has NEPA partnered with UNDP on?
Well, of course, the NPAS project contributed a lot in terms of livelihoods as well, in terms of training of our farmers, and of course, training of many different community-based organizations. Because if you could just return to watersheds for a moment, when people speak about catchment areas, a lot of people think that rainfall has to occur directly over reservoirs. But the truth is that rain that falls in the hills creates our potable water source. And if you cut down the trees from those areas and degrade the watersheds, then that just leads to droughts and the unavailability of this natural resource.
All right, thank you so much. You've heard it there from Ainsworth Carroll, Director of Planning and Projects at the National Environment and Planning Agency. Thank you so much, sir, and I'm sure you're looking forward to further partnerships with the UNDP Multi-Country Office and NEPA.
Definitely. We are excited about the 22-26 plan, and we will definitely be collaborating with the UNDP. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard it from Ainsworth Carroll, Director of Planning and Projects at NEPA, as we stand by to head to Andrew Laidley with some more of what's happening in our mini expo.
Thank you very much, Javon. As you can imagine, the room is buzzing with activity. I'm now joined by Nordia McLaurin, a representative at the Gender of Bureau Affairs booth. Nordia, talk to me a little bit about the projects that the Gender of Bureau Affairs have been championing over the past few years with the UNDP.
Thank you for that question. So it's the Bureau of Gender Affairs, and the UNDP is one of the Bureau's main partners in implementing the Spotlight Initiative, which is Jamaica's country program that aims to eliminate violence against women and girls. One of the exciting projects that we have been working with is implementing a gender-based violence referral pathway, which we have been doing several trainings across the island. We have signed MOUs with the key stakeholders and MDAs to implement our GBV referral pathway in order to strengthen the country's response in eliminating gender-based violence.
Okay, so Nordia, talk to me about what you expect moving forward with the new country program that the UNDP has launched here and the partnership that we are developing with the Bureau of Gender Affairs.
So I can tell from the exciting work. In October, we had a South-to-South program where the UNDP partnered with the Bureau of Gender Affairs to strengthen our case referral pathway. So we brought in persons from Belize who assisted us to develop a case management protocol. And I look forward to working with the dedicated team at the UNDP as we aim to eliminate and reduce instances of gender-based violence, not only against women and girls, but also men and boys.
Nordia McLaurin, they're a representative here at the launch of the UNDP country program 2022 to 2026, and we look forward to working very, very closely with the Bureau of Gender Affairs. Javon, I'll be going around and speaking with a few more representatives at the booth, but for now, it's back to you.
Thank you so much, Andrew. We're definitely looking forward to hear much more of what's happening here on the ground. If you're just joining us at home via Zoom or YouTube or on Facebook, welcome. We had the official launch of the 2022-2026 country program for the UNDP coming out of the multi-country office based here in Kingston, Jamaica. And we've been having conversations with a wide range of partners who've helped to push our own development work as UNDP. And joining me now is Jamaro Marville. He's a team member at UNDP and he oversees the social resilience portfolio of projects. Now, Jamaro, let's talk about what you do and these various projects. I mean, what are some of the key objectives looking at social resilience and what does that really mean?
Thank you so much for that question. As mentioned, Jamaro Marville, program analyst for the social resilience and inclusion portfolio. And what we're really hoping to do through this portfolio, as we know, and even the COVID pandemic would have highlighted a lot, unfortunately, a lot of our citizens within the country don't necessarily have the same access to opportunities as others. So what we want to do through our program, so for example, when we look at food security, when we look at digitalization, etc., it's just to identify ways and means that we could kind of level the playing field for our citizens just to ensure that persons have access. And really and truly, as Jamaica has the mandate, to be a place that persons can really make home, do business, raise families, and retire.
Youth falls under your portfolio,
correct? Yes, sir.
And what's the engagement with youth as it relates to the UNDP? And
youth is something that we're actually pretty excited about as we move into our 2023. We actually had some of our initiatives taking place last year with the Amplifying Youth Voices Action initiative, where we would have engaged numerous youth groups within Jamaica around the notion of citizen safety and security. And the response, the engagement was remarkable, and we're really looking to see if we can have a phase 2 of that program, where we really look to do capacity building and strengthen some of the activities and organizations happening across Jamaica. I don't want to put too much out of the bag, but we're also looking to see...
You could.
We're also looking to see if we can move some of our cooperations and interactions across waters, looking at the continent of Africa. So the country of Jamaica should be hearing more about these activities in the coming months. We're still doing a bit of scoping. We're still having some relevant conversations with our stakeholders. But what we really are trying to do within Jamaica is really just bring all of the youth initiatives and organizations together to kind of elevate and promote the great work that our youth are doing.
Indeed, and I mean the work that you're doing is towards achieving those sustainable development goals. So I'm putting you on the spot. What's your favorite SDG?
So I don't necessarily have a favorite SDG. I guess we're UNDP. So it has to be number 1, no poverty, because that's our mandate. And I think that everything under the notion of no poverty for the social resilience kind of falls under that. So by that nature and by that means, I mean, no poverty is it is number 1, but it's also my number 1 as well.
All right, leaving no one behind there. Thank you so much, Jamaro Marville.
Thank you so much.
And you are the person with responsibility for the resilience portfolio. And you said another bit of responsibility that you had. So give us your portfolio again.
So program analyst, social resilience, and inclusion. So that would cover, we have quite a number of thematic areas, but we're really looking to just tackle and improve the lives of our vulnerable groups here in Jamaica.
All right, thank you so much, Jamaro.
Thank you too.
And of course, it's buzzing with activity here at AC Marriott Hotel as we have our mini expo taking place. And Andrew Laidley has another one of our booth holders standing by to share with us what's happening. Andrew?
Javon, I'm not sure if you've ever heard about the Jeff Small Grants Program. Well, right now I'm joined by Ferradine Forbes to tell us a little bit more about what beneficiaries can expect this year under the new country program from Jeff SGP.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for that. Well, as you can see, the Jeff Small Grants Program, it is the small grants, and we support community-based organizations and NGOs supporting communities to improve and transform their communities by addressing environmental issues. And so, for this year, under the extended program, we are going to be continuing our efforts to support our community groups, addressing various environmental issues, relating to biodiversity conservation, climate change, land degradation and sustainable forest management, the protection of our international waters, and chemicals and waste management. As a matter of fact, our first call for 2023 will be issued next week.
Ms. Forbes, talk to me about maybe 2 of the projects that really stood out for you under the previous country program.
Thanks again for that. And well, as I'm a little bit new to the program, so you kind of get me on the spot here. But we have had all of our projects have been extremely successful. We have had projects that bring water to communities that did not have potable water. And we're talking just 5 years ago. And those infrastructure are still in place today. And we continue our efforts to supporting farmers groups to improve the livelihoods in their community spaces, looking at new and improved agricultural technologies, aquaponics, hydroponics, and we continue to speak proudly about our projects. As you can see here on display, we have projects that have been working to protect our Jamaican iguana species, right? And so we continue to look forward to supporting our community groups as they come up with these innovative ideas to address their environmental issues.
When I hear you talking about community groups, who really are the beneficiaries of these grants that Jeff are offering?
Jeff Small Grants, we offer grants directly to community-based organizations and NGOs supporting communities. So our farmers groups, our community development committees, our national NGOs that work directly with community-based organizations to improve the lives of their residents through addressing specific environmental issues.
So if I am the president of a small farmers group, where do I start in terms of applying to Jeff for a small grant?
You start by calling Jeff SGP Jamaica, and you can contact us directly through the UNDP, and from there you'll get the further information on how to get through to us.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Forbes, from a representative here at the launch of the UNDP Multi-Country Office Country Program launch right here at the AC Marriott Hotel. It's over to you, Javon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrew. It's been a wonderful afternoon. We started at about 3 with various articles showcasing what the UNDP does, and we moved into our official launch, and taking place now is our expo. But all good things, they say, must come to an end. But guess what? The work of the UNDP is not coming anywhere near to an end, because we will continue to do the work of development across the region. So ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap up the official launch of the Country Program 2022 to 2026, we thank you so much for joining us from wherever you are. Those of you joining us on the JIS YouTube channel, the UNDP Multi-Country Office in Jamaica YouTube, for those of you on other social media platforms, we thank you so much for staying with us this afternoon into evening, and we want you to keep the conversation going by using the hashtags partner with UNDP and hashtag leaving no one behind. We say thank you so much to all our partners who would have helped to make this possible. Thank you so much to our technical teams, the team from the UNDP, and all those involved in ensuring that this year's event was made possible. We also thank our various booth holders who have on display various items showcasing the partnerships over the years with the UNDP, and we look forward to continued partnerships. If you want to find out much more information, head to our website, www.undp.org/Jamaica. And of course, you can follow UNDP on all social media platforms at UNDP Jamaica. On behalf of the entire team, I am Javon Keys. Stay safe, and remember, we're advancing the goals, leaving no one behind.
In a world where poverty, inequality, and exclusion are on the rise, and nations remain vulnerable to crises like climate change, natural disaster, pandemic, too many of us are being left behind. Our journey to the Sustainable Development Goals, though delayed, is not denied. This challenge drives the mission of the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, and energizes our team here and across 170 countries and territories. We are UNDP, determined to eradicate poverty, reduce inequalities and exclusion, and build resilience so countries can sustain progress. This is who we are and why we exist. We are UNDP, answering the call to solve these challenges through 6 signature solutions tailored to your country's needs and priorities. They're UNDP's multifaceted plan, focusing on keeping people out of poverty, ensuring governance for peaceful, just, and inclusive societies, facilitating crisis prevention and increased resilience while focusing on nature-based solutions for development, championing clean and affordable energy and gender equality. And now, the UNDP Multi-Country Office located in Jamaica is offering UNDP's signature solutions to Jamaica, Bermuda, Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, and Turks and Caicos Islands. Our signature solutions are the inspiration for a new country program designed in partnership with government and civil society. Together, we're taking aim at multidimensional poverty by addressing social resilience and inclusion, citizen safety and security, and rule of law, climate change resilience, and sustainable natural resource management. This means day to day, we are on the ground, supporting crisis prevention, response, and recovery from natural disaster, championing livelihoods that preserve and heal our planet, helping the vulnerable access opportunities to thrive, supporting countries accelerate action on climate change, supporting your vision for clean energy and water security, partnering for equity, justice, and security for all. We are UNDP, ready to mobilize development financing for your big ideas, ready to advance the effectiveness of your solutions with innovation and digitalization so that your solutions make a real difference in people's lives. We are UNDP. Count on us to maintain our global reputation for transparency and accountability on your development needs. Count on us to help you access our global policy network of experts and resources. If your goal is to end poverty, lift the marginalized, and strengthen your nation against crisis, think UNDP. We are ready. We are ready to partner on your solutions to eradicate poverty, reduce inequalities and exclusion, and build resilience so your countries can sustain progress. We are UNDP.